Hey guys, Bobby Day, Center Target Firearms Indoor Range, Greater Defense Training Academy here in London, Kentucky. Just a continuation of some of the videos we're going to be making over the next few months. Today we're going to be talking about stance. Now our last video we covered grip, and just to reiterate and to refresh you on that, as you can see we're working with a clear weapon. There's nothing in the chamber, no magazine in the weapon. I'll work the slide a few times and you see we're working with a weapon that is in fact clear. Just to reiterate and to refresh your memory on our grip, got a couple points of contact we want to hit. First one is with the webbing of the hand high on the back strap of the weapon. My middle finger comes down and touches the trigger guard. My index finger is laying along the edge of the frame, pointed toward the target. Later on, in one of our videos that's going to be coming up later, when we start talking about presentation, we'll show you how having these fingers as a reference point is going to be able to help you as well with speed later on. But right now we just want to lay it along the edge of the frame, not here on the trigger, not kind of cheating toward the trigger, along the frame. Flag that thumb, come in, sort of karate chop the trigger guard, and basically want to fill this all up with my hand, with my thumb pointed toward the target. So I got a thumb and an index finger pointed toward the target. This thumb is resting on top of my support hand. As far as grip's concerned, more pressure with my left hand than with my right. I want to make sure when I flag this hand that it's going 45 degrees as opposed to straight out. That's going to help me with that. If you watched the first video we did as far as grip's concerned, handgun grip, you'll see all those things. Now the part comes into the mix of stance. A lot of times we're asked, well, what kind of stance do you use? Do you use an isosceles, a weaver? What kind of stance are you using? And the type of stance that I shoot is a me, for lack of a better term. It's a fighting stance. It's a comfortable stance. Basically, for me, I ask myself, from that stance, could I fight? Could I move left, right, to and fro, and do I have balance while I'm doing all those things? Like I said on the grip, as far as just coming out here and hitting the target and shooting around on the target, not worried about follow-up shots, not worried about rapid fire, stance it doesn't have that much of a bearing on it. I can stand straight up. As long as I'm comfortable, I'm going to be able to hit the target. My follow-up shot's what's going to suffer as a result of it. So from here and in a self-defense environment, I got to make sure I'm capable of having a little bit of cushion. I can move left, right, to and fro. And we'll discuss the hazards associated with moving straight to the rear later. My fighting stance, or my comfortable stance, is a stance that if I was startled and thought I may have to fight, may have to move from that stance, that's the stance. It's not too deep. Obviously, it's not straight up. It's not on my heels. It's more weight on the bottom. And I don't want you to start suffering from paralysis from overanalysis. One of the worst things you can do as a shooter is start overanalyzing things, and as I said, paralysis from overanalysis is what I refer to it as. Slow fire. When we're just slow firing, you line the sights up on the target. You press the trigger to the rear. If those sights remain on that target, undisturbed, when the round comes out or when the primer's ignited and the round comes out, you're going to hit the target. Doesn't matter how you grip, doesn't matter how you stand. Now we're going to be able to tighten them up with those type of things. But as far as from a self-defense standpoint or a fast follow-up shots, we're going to need to do all these things. And I got to be able to move, because I may be, when we're talking self-defense, I may have to fight, I may have to move left, move right, I may have to run. So I can't be standing straight up. I've got to have balance when I do those things. And I'm going to have to be comfortable to be successful. So you're going to have to figure out, don't worry about the weaver, don't worry about the isosceles, the modified Israeli, whatever. Worry about what works for you. And you ask yourself, from there, could I fight? Could I move left? Could I move right? Could I move to? And could I move fro? And if those are the case, because we don't know what our terrain's going to be made of. On a sterile range, we got a flat environment. We don't have to worry about potholes, rocks, those type things, obstacles along the way. In a self-defense environment, we may have to worry about those things. Moving straight back typically is not the best course of action, but it may be the only thing we've got, depending on the circumstances. May not be able to move any one of those ways. May have to move straight forward to where the assailant is, depending on the circumstances and depending on the terrain. So when you're trying to find your stance, find what works for you. Have somebody run at you, figure out where you'd be able to be if you wanted to try to resist that to some degree, and then be able to move left, right, to and fro from that. And I think it's going to help you. let us know. Listen, like our page, Facebook page. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to have lots and lots of more videos. We're also going to have some training courses. We've already started running a lot of training courses here at the range. Firearms classes, self-defense classes, active shooter, lots of different things, but those schedules of events will be on our web page and on our Facebook page as well. Appreciate you. Stay safe.